Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It has been a very long time since I have uploaded. I apologize. I got a little busy. Today we're talking about something that is a little bit serious, so just make sure you have nothing scheduled for today. Strap in. We're going to talk about it. I'm assuming everyone who has clicked on this video knows who Gabbie Hanna is. She's a creator here on YouTube. She doesn't really need an introduction, but for the sake of it, I'll give a brief history lesson. So Gabbie Hanna got her start over on Vine, if you're old enough to remember what that is. And on Vine, she made funny videos and gained around 5 million followers. But then Vine died and she moved over to YouTube, where she started making storytime videos. Upon her success on this platform, she released a few songs and some poetry books, which they had a mixed reception. Over the course of her career here on YouTube and the music industry, she's had a lot of controversy surrounding her, but I'm only going to go over the big three: Escape the Night, Trisha Paytas, and Jessi Smiles. I'm not going to touch on the smaller incidents like Kenza Cosmetics because I don't really care. And if you already know of the three big dramas that I'm going to explain for some background for people who may not know her, then I should have some timestamps and you can go to the most recent drama that we will be discussing. If you're staying here to listen to some of the dramas, then have fun, sit down, grab some tea. So the first drama that we are going over, we're jumping back all the way to 2017. Gabbie Hanna was a cast member on the web series called Escape the Night, made by Joey Graceffa, and she was later re-invited to be a cast member during the 4th season. So sometime after the show was done filming, Daniel Preda, who was a co-producer on it, had briefly mentioned that Gabbie was a nightmare to work with. He didn't go into any detail about it, but that did spark the events that happened. A lot of people think that Gabbie brought it up out of nowhere, but in this case, she kind of didn't. Gabbie decided to come out with a series exposing people who she believed wronged her. And in Escape the Night's case, she felt like she was disrespected, she wasn't listened to, and she expected an apology from Joey and Daniel. She claimed that her ADHD caused her to be unprofessional, and she said that there was too many hours spent doing nothing, and that her meal schedules were not accommodated, that her costume didn't fit, and that the chunky necklace that she wore during the show had broke her out. Now, as someone who has ADHD, unmedicated at that, that's not an excuse. Having ADHD doesn't mean that you can just go around and yell at people because they're not doing what you think needs to be done. And if you knew that you had this disorder and were treating people this way, that still makes you the problem. So Joey and Daniel both made videos responding to Gabbie's claims. Joey's video was on the shorter side, and he basically stated that Gabbie was horrific. She yelled at staff, refused to fill out any of the important paperwork about her dietary needs until the first day of filming.
Every single person is sent a form days before we start filming to get people's medical information and their allergies and any food restrictions. Gabbie didn't fill this out until the day we were on set. Miss Gabbie, can we do a little BTS moment? How is she? Look at, she's got her yellow hair on.
We're doing
She's practicing her script.
filling out my medical information.
You're supposed to fill this out beforehand so we can get everything prepared and make sure that we have your dietary restrictions accounted for. So I don't understand how you expect things to be done for you when you don't do the work yourself. And
Keep in mind, she was already complaining about her diet not being right on the first day, the same day that she filled out the paperwork. How do you expect people to read your mind? He also states that her outfit did not fit right. Indeed, it did not. But that was due to her only showing up for 1 out of the 3 rehearsal fittings. On top of that, when the team needed her for a fitting, they decided to compromise on Gabbie's life and meet Gabbie at her music studio, which was a while away from the set. They sent a woman who was 9 months pregnant to meet Gabbie and help her with her costume. And when this pregnant woman showed up, Gabbie stood her up. Gabbie was not there. Joey says that because of all of the events that took place On top of Gabbie not showing up to set when they needed her, they decided to kill off her character early. Now, Daniel's video was much longer. He had the same claims that Joey did, but he went deeper into how he tried to help her and he tried to accommodate her needs. Daniel explains that even though Gabbie didn't fill out her paperwork for her food request, she still had plenty of money to hire an assistant to bring her food, but she chose not to. So Daniel decided to step up. He went above and beyond for her. He asked her for very specific meals, offered to go to the store for her, and tolerated all of this behavior. He even mentions that the salads that he made personally for Gabbie to her request were left to rot. After all of the complaining, she just left them. He described how sets work and that waiting times in between filming are really long. He says that it's a hurry up and wait industry. And when you're in that industry with a large cast, you're not special. You don't get special treatment. Everyone is going to be treated the same way. She was not pinned against. Daniel also states that even some of the promotional filming that they did for the show, they had to film a body double because Gabbie was lashing out at an assistant for telling her that she had to wait a little bit longer. There was a lot more to that video. It was like an hour long, so if you do want to see either one of their videos, it's going to be linked in the description. After both videos came out, it was very clear that Gabbie was a terrible co-star and did not deserve an apology from either one of them. So now we're moving on to Trisha Paytas. We're going back to 2017. Trisha Paytas uploaded a video called YouTubers I've Hooked Up With. And Gabbie pieced together that she was seeing another YouTuber named Jason Nash. Gabbie went on to text Jason that he needed to be careful around Trisha because she had herpes. Or someone told her that she had herpes. Which was, one, not true, and two, none of Gabbie's business to be telling others. She also made cryptic Instagram posts about Trisha, but not directly saying Trisha's name, but of course everybody figured it out. Trisha, in multiple different videos complaining about Gabbie Hanna, stated that she had asked Gabbie so many times to stop trying to contact her, and Gabbie pretty much refused. Gabbie goes on to defend herself by stating that she was just looking out for a friend, and she's a good person who is tired of being shitted on. Gabbie, I don't know if you knew this, but good people don't spread lies. Good people don't spread rumors about other people that are not proven. But go off. Gabbie also said that she feared Trisha, but Trisha came back with even more valid reasons on why she was afraid of Gabbie. They did a few back and forths, but that was the main drama between them. And now we're on to Jessi Smiles. This situation is a really, really long one, so I'm going to be cutting it down a lot. If you want all of the information regarding this situation and what exactly happened, there are plenty of videos to go watch. Also, this sort of part of the video is going to have some heavy topics discussed, so if you're not comfortable with hearing that, go ahead and skip to the next part where I talk about the most recent drama because I'm not going to be bringing it up again. So this whole situation starts, Jessi and Gabbie used to be very close friends. They featured in each other's videos and hung out behind the scenes. They eventually had a falling out with each other and were just no longer friends, but both were storytime YouTubers, so they did tell stories about each other online. Jessi had a horrific incident happen between her and her former partner where he took advantage of her while she was recovering from a head injury. And I want to go ahead and preface this by saying this man has been to court over this. He took a plea deal. It has been very proven that he is guilty. It's cut and dry. There's no questions. One day, Gabbie was hanging out with this man's friends, and he was there. He pulled Gabbie aside and said that he heard that Gabbie and Jessi were no longer friends, and asked Gabbie if he could tell her his side of the story, which Gabbie then listened to. Gabbie likes to try to defend herself from this whole scenario by saying, "It's not like I was hanging out with him, I was just hanging out with his friends." But I think she fails to realize that, that's still not a good thing. You associate yourself with people who align their beliefs with an abuser, who defend and still respect an abuser. Sir, that puts you in the wrong. Jessi released a video explaining the whole situation and more context behind it that is going to be linked below. I severely summarized that. So a few years go by and Gabbie releases that series that I mentioned previously. And in this series, she also talks about Jessi. She talks about how she had a BuzzFeed interview, how the interviewer asked her about Jessi, and she just couldn't say no. And Gabbie states that she gave Jessi an apology, and she feels like she deserves one as well, which, no. And I want to go ahead and mention that when Gabbie decided to release this series and bring up Jessi's name again, that's right around the time where Jessi announced she was pregnant with a rainbow baby. So in response to this, Jessi releases a snippet, a small portion of a 3-hour phone call that she had with Gabbie, exposing her for lying and proving that Gabbie never really gave her a sincere apology. Gabbie then decides to release the full 3-hour phone call and made a video talking about it. She says that Jessi manipulated the phone call to make her look bad and that Jessi is bullying her. Jessi then makes another video called Gabbie Will Never Stop, where she goes over that phone call and defends herself, rightfully so. She shares screenshots where Gabbie is attempting to get her to sign an NDA without signing one herself, of course. Jessi tells her to stop talking about her trauma online and shares that Gabbie wanted Jessi to retract her statements and give a public apology. The audience after this video was released was in Jessi's favor, and Gabbie ended up crashing out and left the internet. Until Gabbie returns to the internet. Woo! After a few manic episodes on TikTok, Gabbie has now decided to come back with another series, calling out people who she feels owes her an apology. Again, it's a bit repetitive, and the crowd is not having it. There are so many comments telling her to just leave it alone, to drop it, to get over it. And she's actually responded to a few of them. She is still claiming to be a victim in some of them. When another commenter said, "Gabbie, you need to apologize to Jessi," Gabbie's response is, "For what? For what?" For what? All of these years that you had to reminisce on your actions and you still have no idea what you did wrong. All of this time later and you still refuse to be accountable for your own actions. While all of this saga is going down, she has turned to religion. She is hiding behind religion to deflect from all of her past actions and pushes for her haters to find God. As a side note, she also brought up Adam McIntyre for seemingly no reason other than to tell him that he's not living right and that he needs to find God, which to me personally came off a little bit homophobic. So when I was making this script, Gabbie announced her series and the only episode that she had uploaded was about Trisha. So I decided to postpone filming this video and just see what happens, and boy, was that a wise decision. On Reddit, some of Gabbie's Patreon messages in a group chat with her fans got leaked. So Gabbie has this Patreon where she interacts with fans, and I guess one of them brought up Trisha and all of this stuff because of her most recent video, and this is kind of where it starts out. Gabbie says, "You are part of the problem. Why are you here bringing her up? I haven't said her name in 2 weeks now? None of my content has been about her, but here you are. People like you, Isabel, are the reason this convo is still going." How hypocritical you are! How hypocritical you are! Gabbie, you admit in this message that you haven't brought up Trisha's name in 2 weeks. Trisha's name should have never been brought up 2 weeks ago. What are you talking about? Isabel then responds, "Gabbie, I brought her up because you did. Please scroll upwards." So I'm assuming there's a little more messages up top, but I cannot see them. Gabbie says, "You came here about Trisha," which is all the same to me. Trisha, Jessi, the drama channels, they're all one evil mutant who literally for years had group chats about how they were planning to attack me that day in unison, LMAO. Some other person says, as a person who has trouble letting things go, I can tell you that sometimes talking about it helps you move past it. Sometimes you need to do this repeatedly. I have so much stuff that I need to let go of from my childhood, some of which I would have sworn I had already let go, but it just sneaks back up on you. So I'm a little under the impression that this person is trying to defend her, which, girl, yes, it can be okay to talk about experiences that you have gone through to help cope and get over it, but this is the internet. But usually you'd want to talk about those things to a therapist or a close friend just to kind of get it off your chest. But babe, this is the internet, and this has been repetitive for years. Gabbie has talked about this so many times for seemingly no reason. In the next screenshot, Gabbie says, but what's ignored is the fact that many years later, despite the fact that we have years of conversations proving that we had moved on from whatever was between us, she histrionically came out with the video that I needed to be stopped. That video didn't come out of nowhere. That video was in response to you bringing her up again. In the BuzzFeed interview, in the series, she's responding to you. Jessi probably would have never made that video if you would just stop talking about her. Gabbie goes on to say, and with each responses, she got more and more emotional and hysterical about it, adding more and more details, lying more and more, explaining away glaring evidence that she was obviously just building a drama channel career. And then it was, you can't respond because she's pregnant and that's harassment. You're hurting a pregnant woman. And then it was, she just had a baby. You can't respond. You're harassing a new mother while she's with her newborn. Gabbie. Jessi in those videos very clearly explains that she does not want to make those videos, that she did not want to talk about the situation even more. In her last video, I think she had mentioned that that was the last video she was ever going to make on Gabbie. Jessi made it very clear that she did not want to be a drama channel about Gabbie, but Gabbie keeps bringing her up. And something about these messages specifically, talking about how she got even more and more emotional and all that sort of stuff, it just reads to me as misogynistic in a way. Isabel goes on to say, but she moved on years ago from that, and you can move on too, following the same logic you just commented. Isabel, you are cooking. You were so right. Jessi has been moved on from this situation for years. She has started her own family. She has done her own things. And Gabbie's only claim to fame is bringing Jessi up again. In another message, Gabbie says, because Jessi Smiles is my abuser. Period, point blank. Just like she was compelled to speak publicly about her abuse, I am compelled to speak about mine, and mine happened in the public eye, at her hands. Hers was leaked by a TMZ article, at her hands. Nothing about this is anything I would have wanted to be a public spectacle. I genuinely don't know what Gabbie's trying to get out with this. All of that stuff with the TMZ stuff was awful. But the reason that Jessi has to keep talking about it and keep coming on the internet about her story is because of you, Gabbie. But because my abuser moved her abuse from behind the scenes to front and center in the public eye to build a drama channel, it makes perfect sense that I would want to talk about my story of abuse for people in my phone context in my community that are being served videos about me because of Trisha and Jessi in 2016. Jessi didn't care that I confided in her about my own story when she did this. Just on and on with the delusion. I just think it's really hypocritical that Gabbie gets to talk all about what happened to Jessi and make it about herself, but Jessi can't even say that she's not going to talk about what happened to Gabbie without her getting mad about it. I don't understand. And you can also see in this screenshot specifically that under that message, a fan had commented that she 100% knew what she was doing and didn't act alone either. This group chat is just an echo chamber of, Gabbie, you're the greatest. Gabbie, you do nothing wrong. Gabbie, this, Gabbie, that. Gabbie, you're amazing. No one is giving her a reality check. This is not healthy. The screenshots continue on and on. I'm going to quit reading them here because it's just the same thing of Gabbie being in Delulu land. Some of the people in the comments under this Reddit post basically say the same thing that I've been saying. One of the comments read, the people agreeing with her and egging her on give me a headache. I can't believe anyone would be on her side after all of this. She is her own abuser user via her own definition of the word because she is the person that keeps bringing this shit up. How are you going to say that you moved on but still come back rehashing the same issues? Jessi's kid is school-aged, and the fact that Gabbie has been speaking about this since she was a zygote is mind-blowing. I don't know how someone can let something consume them like this. I'd say touch grass, but whenever she does, the grass runs the fuck away from her because it's tired of hearing the mess. Wow. Those slides made me want to drink. And another person points out an issue in this group chat, which we will cover, and they say, the user Jackson in her Patreon is a minor. He participates heavily every day. Gabbie was talking about wanting to hire someone to edit videos for her, and Jackson chimed in and said he wanted to help. Reminded me of Colleen and Adam. Not sure if Gabbie even read the message a while back where Jackson briefly talked about his age. She spends more time ranting to herself than she does actually scrolling the chat and reading it. I do want to touch on that fact that some of her Patreon members are minors and she is talking to them directly, but we're going to move on to what she has posted most recently. So after all that came out, Gabbie had made a post and it was a very long one, so I am going to cut some parts out. I've skipped a little bit of the intro portion and I'm just moving on to the parts that I think are, necessary to read, so we will read them out now. Everyone telling me, fans and haters alike, that I need to move on are 100% correct, and I am trying so hard. I have been trying so hard. It is so hard to move on when your abusers, the people who slandered and hated their way into careers, are so publicly present, and their fans have already been weaponized against you. It hurts me to see my abusers thrive. It's envy, even though I do not want what they have. It's rage that their toxic behaviors are actively celebrated, while I was painted as a manipulative, money-hungry, evil, deceitful, toxic, hateful, abusive person for insert anything from the past decade of endless harassment here. It is hard to keep this wound shut without shutting out everything else. The calling to write and share my music, my testimony. It takes a lot of strength and courage every time I attempt to be consistent online again without fail. As soon as I find some stability and start posting again, viral videos start swirling around, misdiagnosing me, making openly bigoted remarks about my faith, my ethnic features, my mental health. It's truly like I'm subhuman. People's ethnic features are off limits unless it's Gabbie Hanna. Religion/faith is off limits unless it's Gabbie Hanna. Mental health is off limits unless it's Gabbie Hanna. It's so impossible to ignore. To her first point, all of the people that she has talked about, specifically Trisha and Jessi, they have moved on. Trisha has started her own family. She is celebrated, and as much as I don't agree with that because of the things that Trisha has done, which is a whole separate thing, Trisha's moved on from you. Trisha doesn't think about you. Trisha doesn't really bring you up all that much unless you bring her up first. It's the same thing with Jessi. She has shown that she is a person outside of the dramas that involved you. But what have you done, Gabbie? Yes, you have recently gotten married and started your faith and all that stuff, but meanwhile, you're still bringing them up. You have not shown who you are as a person all of this time later without bringing up past dramas. You won't separate yourself. I feel like Gabbie could make a comeback to the internet and be a religious creator, a vlogger, whatever she wants to be. I feel like she could do that. She has plenty of experience with the algorithm. But the fact that every single time she comes back, she just rehashes the same old dramas, she won't separate herself. That's why people think you haven't changed. You're showing us that you haven't changed. And to move on to her point about people making fun of her faith, ethnic features, and mental health, obviously making fun of people for their features and for their mental health is wrong. While I and many others may believe that it's personally wrong, there's gonna be some bad apples on the internet. They're gonna make fun of anyone, not just you. And with religion and faith, Gabbie, nobody wants your religion shoved down their throats. When you continuously tell people to find God, people don't really like that. It's not that we don't like that you found religion, it's that you keep pushing it when nobody is asking for it. That's the only thing that I see wrong with the religion thing. After that screenshot, she goes on to rant about how she tried to exist off the internet and she tried to be, I think it was like a gym instructor or something like that, which I think is the best thing for Gabbie. She needs to be offline, off of the internet, go live a normal life. She does rightfully point out that when she did try to live this normal life, that people found out within like a week and started going to view her like she was an animal in the zoo, which I think is just something that is going to happen when you are a public creator for so long and have aligned yourself with bad things and haven't really grown. When people see you just doing normal things, it's just going to happen, and it really sucks. I think she is definitely right in that aspect, but I do think that the best thing for her to do there is to just keep going. After some time, if you show people that like you've changed and you are living this normal life, you want to be completely off the internet, you're done, people are going to fade off over time. It's just something that you're going to have to be patient with. It sucks. Don't think it should happen, but it does. Now, reading a little bit more, Gabbie says, I'm retired. I was trying to do something good for my community, and it immediately turned into a public spectacle, an unsafe, uncomfortable working environment, which like I said, sucks. That should not have happened. That shouldn't happen. She says, I'm not allowed to waste my talents. I'm not allowed to keep my testimony to myself, and I have the right to be here, the internet, without being treated as a creature in a zoo. I'm trying to figure out how to exist on the internet without allowing this to continue to harm me and without allowing it to lead me to harm others, because I don't want revenge. I've so many times forgiven and tried to forget about these people. They will not let me. I'm going to pause there briefly. What do you mean they won't let you? They have moved on. They are on to their own lives. If it bothers you so much to see their face online, to see them doing good or whatever, block them. In all seriousness, block them. That is the thing to do. I'm sure that would solve about 80% of your problems. She goes on, there is no reason for me to randomly be trying to expose people for their salacious acts that are readily available to the public in my Patreon group chat. There is no reason for me to be trying to defend myself to people that are initially slandering my name for money, and there is no reason to be allowing myself to operate in a spirit of hatred, bringing that influence here to you guys. Trying to bring them down is not going to make me feel better. It will not fix anything. It only brings forth more hatred. Then why do you keep bringing it up? I say this because she has done the same thing over and over and over again, where she comes on the internet and she talks about these people, and then when the internet is not on her side, she gets butthurt about it, and then she goes on to say that bringing these people down will not fix anything, it's not going to make me feel better, I'm going to just be a better person because I am a good person, and then she quits the internet, and then she comes back, and then she does the same thing. It's the same lesson over and over again, and she just doesn't or refuses to learn. Because I agree, she's right here. Bringing them down for whatever you feel that they did to you, it's not going to make you feel better. It's not going to help you at all. And frankly, you continuing to do it continues to make you look worse. So I had some minor interruptions, but we're going to continue on. So after that, she goes on talking about God and how she's connected to him. All that sort of stuff that I don't really feel like getting into because I'm not personally religious in any sort of capacity, so I don't care. The next screenshot, I'll have it right here. You can pause to read it, but summing it all up, she says that she's going to get someone else to upload her videos or maybe do that, but she's not going to be associated with the internet anymore. She says that she's going to miss all of the fans in her group chat. My light! Well, my light died, so that means it's about time to wrap up the video. With all this being set aside, Gabbie Hanna is now off of the internet. She is turning to her religion, not going to speak on things anymore, but going back to just the allowing minors into your Patreon and allowing them to be a part of this echo chamber. I'm getting so much deja vu because this is not the first time that had happened either. She had interacted with a fan on Twitter when they posted a little bit of hate tweets about her and told her all about Jessi Smiles and how Jessi did her wrong. Have we learned nothing? If I had any advice to give any large creator, stop interacting with your fans. Stop interacting, especially with minors. I can almost guarantee that in a few years we will be hearing from her again. Don't know how bad it's going to be that time, but I will probably cover it. I don't know. I just talk about things that I want to talk about. And that is going to wrap up this video. Nothing else has came out after this, at least from what I can think. My camera's about to die. My light died. It's a mess. Been filming for over an hour, so we're just gonna call it right here. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I'm planning to make a few more videos, in the future, just talking about things that I want to talk about, but I can't guarantee that I'm going to stay back because I don't know. I get busy and then I forget. And like I said earlier in this video, the other videos talking about Gabbie and their situations, all the drama that happened with that is going to be linked in the description. And I will possibly see y'all in the next one. Bye. Oh, I gotta go to work.